meeting where they were going to talk about what the city of Georgetown's housing needs are now, and there's some kind of housing plan up to 2030.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was amazed at there were about 15 realtors there, and I only knew 3 of them.
Really?
4 of them, I guess. And only one other person from Keller Williams was in the room, mostly Berkshire Hathaway and Century 21. And I thought, you know what that said to me was,
we're not kissing the right butt.
That's not exactly the way I would have said it, but yes, indeed, we're not engaged at the level that the city is seeing us as a player. And the subject matter, Nancy did a really good job, because the subject matter was about where are all the buyers and what price range, what part of town's the best part of town, do the schools make any difference, what's Southwestern, is it an asset, is it a detriment? I mean, it wasn't anything any of you couldn't have spoken to. And just, I was sort of amused that I think I counted 6 people from Century 21 and 5 people from Berkshire Hathaway, and Nancy and I. And I don't know why I was there, because my perspective would be more global and less specific to the area. So I didn't say much, and thought I might send them some statistical information in writing, because at anything like that, you got people who would like to hear themselves talk, so they got the opportunity to talk. And I have a tendency in situations like that to just let them go on and make fools of themselves and be done with it, So anyway, but I just thought that was sort of a little bit not good for us, that we aren't engaged enough in city politics to get ourselves invited at a higher level, at a higher rate than that. Now, I know some of you work other markets, so I'm not talking to you, but those of you who live in Georgetown, you might think about volunteering to be on a board or a commission as those things come along. And I know you and I have talked about that, because that's how we affect policy at the very beginning levels, is when we are able to be there when decisions are being made. And so anyway, I've played that game for a long time in Georgetown, and currently have been playing it in Round Rock at a little higher level. But I think y'all need to get involved. So that's my preaching for the moment. So I forgot to tell Scott that they had told me it was at 1 o'clock today. So then they told me, whoops, we were wrong. It's at 9 o'clock. And I never did tell him that it got changed. So he's wondering where I was this morning. Why wasn't it? So I didn't prepare materials. I hope Scott or Donna or somebody said this was going to be what you've got to think call at karaoke bar, open mic. So
open mic, there we go.
Somebody just asked a question. Pat?
I saw an article about a proposed release of earnest money.
Yep.
Can you talk about that?
Yep. We're live on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where anybody in the world could watch it?
Actually, only the people in our office.
Okay, good. Well, because what I'm going to say is not something that I would necessarily say publicly, maybe. The Real Estate Commission has drafted for comment a release of earnest money document that I don't think is as good as the one we currently use. It's out by the Texas Association of Realtors. And the form, because the TAR form releases everybody, once you sign it, it basically says we're not going to sue anybody. The bet's over. It's done. And the TREC form just releases you as it relates to the earnest money, not as it relates to lawsuit. Now, why did that happen and why did it come up? And that's the part I wouldn't necessarily say publicly. There is an attorney. The attorneys that are on the broker-lawyer committee at the Real Estate Commission. Y'all remember that from getting your real estate license. There's a broker-lawyer committee. It's been in existence since the 70s. There's 6 lawyers, 6 brokers who read comments about contracts and forms and make changes to those and propose those to the Real Estate Commission. There's currently an attorney on the broker-lawyer committee who's a good attorney, but she sees it as her job to create the Full Employment Act for all attorneys through the forms that the commission proposes and uses. So I think she beat down the rest of the committee at their meeting sometime earlier this spring. And so they proposed this, and then two of their members came to the commission meeting in whenever the last one was, in May, and said, in the kindest and gentlest way, they said, we really would like for y'all to kill this so we don't have to kill her. And the commission didn't catch the signals, so they drafted it out for public comment, which is kind of what we do with forms at the commission. We draft it out for public comment. Of course, TAR has gotten crazy, and they've asked everybody to make comments and be opposed to the form. I'm opposed to the form. I've made that known to the chairman of the Broker-Lawyer Committee. I've asked him to kill it in committee and bring to us in the August meeting a proposal that says we don't want you to approve this form. I don't know if that'll happen. We'll see. If you, this is way more politics than you probably wanted to know about, and yet that's what's going on. Will it become a form? I don't know. Do I want it to? No. We'll see. Just stay tuned. And I've gotten lots and lots of emails from real estate license holders around the state who have sent the standard TAR we're against it letter to me, which it's fine to send it to me. I just forward it to the people that really need to see it, which is the Broker-Lawyer Committee, because that's who sees it, brings it to the commission for a decision. Is that everything you wanted to know and were afraid to ask?
Got the extra to you.
Okay.
Hey, that appraisal contingency form, there's a bunch of people out there who believe that it's a mandatory form.
Not.
Okay, thank you.
Not a mandatory form.
Other brokers are sending us the
Yeah, and I think the reason why they're doing it is because the PowerPoint that Carrie created, at the top of it, it says mandatory May 15th. And they're thinking that every single document in there is mandatory
they're using that as
for
their
use.
Justification.
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's that's the first thing that you can find.
Okay. I can get that fixed.
It was very frustrating.
No, the forms became mandatory for use if you were going to use them on May the 15th. Yes.
So Clayton has texted you, as in a multiple offer situation, some of the conventional offers had the appraisal addendum and some of them did not. So on a conventional, if the property does not appraise and they don't have that addendum attached, do they still have the right to terminate?
They have all of the rights that you have always dealt with the third-party addendum. That the seller can come down, the buyer can put more money down, they can negotiate something between the two. But yes, if the lender is not going to make the loan because the property did not appraise, the buyer can walk away because the appraisal contingency runs to closing.
Because I know with third-party financing, it's FHA and VA, but I didn't believe it was conventional.
Well, that's if the lender will not make the loan. If you've got 30% down and the lender's still going to make the loan, there is no walk away for the buyer. It's if the lender will make the loan on a conventional. And FHA and VA, the form's not used because federal law controls that the property has to appraise under certain circumstances for an FHA or VA loan to be made. Somebody had a question over here. Yep, Stephanie.
As far as closing costs go, and this came about under, 12?
A1B.
Yes, if any expenses exceed an amount expressly stated in this contract, so, we always put not to exceed, and that's on the seller's side, but does that mean that if it went over and beyond what the seller had agreed to pay, that the buyer can terminate and walk away?
No. What'd you say?
Why is
The buyer has to bring the additional money.
Right.
So what is that paragraph pertaining to? Because it really, I've always gone through this contract, but this was a part that kind of caught me by surprise the other day. And
Well, there's a new interpretation running around in lender world of that paragraph. And got some people looking at that to see if we need to fix it, because what the lawyers have always interpreted that to mean is if you, let's just say there's $5,000 in that blank, and the actual closing costs for the buyer are $3,700, then that's all the seller was going to pay. That's what it has been intended to be, that up to $5,000 is what they're going to pay. But let's just say you put $5,000 in there, and $5,000 was more than 3%, which is sometimes all that the seller can pay. So that lenders have been interpreting some of the language in that paragraph to mean that they can use it for anything. Prepaids, taxes, tax prorations, even though you're supposed to prorate to the day of closing, to let the seller pay the taxes for, into the future, sort
I've
of.
heard inspections recently too.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. So just heard about this. That's not the way it was intended. I'm hoping that we're going to see an article very soon from someone with authority. That would be a lawyer at the commission that speaks to that paragraph and what the intention is.
Okay.
Because the intention was up to that amount and only those things, and those things don't include some of these things that you were talking about.
Okay, because I guess where it was saying, if any expenses exceed an amount expressly stated in the contract for such expense to be paid by a party, that party may terminate this contract.
Okay, now I know I'm going to need to see the form
So,
because I'm
yeah,
completely
that's where-
blank on
and
what
like
you're
I said,
talking about.
It kind of took me by surprise because I hadn't seen it. It's the B under.
OB.
So what I was reading it as is if we put $5,000 in there, but the lender comes back and says the closing costs are $6,000, that paragraph says there that if it exceeds any of those charges.
Where's the rest? Where's the page in front of this?
Right here. Yeah.
Because always you have to read it all together.
You're reading what paragraph on there? It's not 12A1B. is it?
It's 12B. 12B.
So I'm glad I'm not the only, I was feeling really stupid because I was like, I don't remember or recall ever seeing that paragraph in the contract.
It's been there for a long time.
Has it?
I think so.
No, they snuck it in last night.
Well, no, at least 2 weeks ago. At least 2 weeks ago.
I don't think so. I think it's been in there for a long time.
But how do you read that?
Well, if any expense expressly stated in the contract is to be paid by a party, that would be like on the third party addendum if there is a 1% origination fee. If it exceeded 1% and it was 1.5%, then the buyer, if the seller or buyer were not willing to pay it, then yeah, they could walk away. But that's been true for a long time. It has to be expressly stated in the contract. It's not talking about what's in paragraph, it's not talking about what's in 12A1B. It's talking about, the only place that I can think of that something is expressly stated in the contract is in the third party. And that's origination and what else that are some that have a blank for them. Interest rate, yeah. Well, and that's been true for a long time.
1% is generally for the,
Yeah.
the 1 or 2% you write in the last part,
Right.
whether it's conventional or whatever, is typically.
Well, interest rate has always, for a long time, has been a back out. I mean, if you, that's why we hopefully are still training new agents that if you have a listing and a buyer making an offer on your property puts 2% in the interest rate in the third party, that you don't allow the seller to sign that because 2% is not an attainable interest rate today, because that's a way out for the buyer.
Okay, so that is not attached to
Huh.
that.
It's expressly stated. Expressly stated. It's
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't it expressly stated, I don't remember what paragraph is it, 4, which lists closing costs?
4 is now you're the owner or the buyer. You're the buyer or the seller.
But there is a
It's
list
in the
of
third party.
buyer's expense,
That's in
seller's expense.
12A, 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's just above that.
And so, sorry, and so we're saying that inspections, I mean,
That's what we've had some lenders making a point that
not
should.
acceptable or is acceptable?
It's not, but they're making it so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've seen that for years. We've seen that for years.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
we got a lender back there. Let's ask him what they're
No, I'm
doing.
not going to ask.
We've seen them do the inspections, we've seen them use them up for just every little thing.
Right.
Last little question on that. Can we, because sometimes the seller doesn't want to buy down their interest rate, so we can strike that part? And just
Sure.
special provisions?
Well, not in special provisions. If it's in 12A1B and it's an amount, then you counter the amount. Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
The
no,
buy down is in
they
there?
usually what they'll do, sometimes the lenders will do this, let's say there's $5,000 again, okay? And they don't use it all up because, let's say that the VA guy had 100%, he's not paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of calculated like it was gonna be there. Then they take that $1,700 and buy down the rate.
Mm.
And I want to put it, you know, what the builders do this all the time, they go, anything except buying down the rate. And
The
so they do
seller
that.
would need to give you the language that they wanted in writing
Okay.
for you to do that. Yes, ma'am.
What I wanted to say in relevance to that is, we recently had one on a farm and ranch contract where they put 30 years for their financing, and you can't get 30-year financing. You can get 15 or 20, but not 30. So you have an awareness not only of the interest rate, but the length of the
What were you going to say?
Capital Farm Credit will do 30 years.
What's the rate?
6.85, but, you know, they're over the co-op, so they give you the percent.
Yeah, you need to be aware and double check that, because
So if you see it,
yeah, she's
call.
absolutely right, 90% of the time, that's not gonna work. So you need to
Everyone
make
called
sure.
in today to verify.
Yeah, yeah,
pre-approval letter we have.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a good moment to remind everybody, if you are doing something that you've never done before and you have no experience with, get someone who has to help you, like Farm and Ranch or commercial, or not only is it a good idea, it's required. Yep, yes, sir.
So I was talking to Scott a little bit about this morning. So I had a situation where we're in option period.
So they can hear you.
Everybody know? I was talking too slow.
It's okay.
All right, I'll speak up. So in an option period, we had on the disclosure that we didn't know about, there were some roof issues, but they were repaired apparently. But once we got into it, we also found some other issues where it was a sheet metal roof put on slats that was not acceptable to my buyer after we did that. And we did inspections and all that. I guess the question is, because that wasn't disclosed, should we, can we get the option money and the inspection money back through that? Or since it was repaired, did they even have to disclose that? How's that work?
Well, you also found pans up there to collect water, right?
It was, there was actually, it was that piece, there was a small bowl, and the other one, I just saw the picture on it. It almost looked like a thermos or something that they put under there. But they said that was always there. That's their claim, that when they bought it. Why they never took it down, I have no idea.
They got it from Steve Martin. I'm just going to take this 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Thanks,
So bizarre.
3 or 4 of you, for knowing what that was.
Yeah. So I guess, we were talking, he said, we talked, maybe we should try to get the option money and the inspection. Is that, what's your perspective on that?
Well, you can always ask as you walk away from something for the seller to make you whole. I would say that the seller has no obligation to ever give you back the option money, because you've purchased the right to back out.
Okay. And what about the inspection money?
If they fail to disclose something that you feel is significant, if they were our seller, I would recommend that they give the people their inspection money back and make them whole in that regard.
For all the different inspections we ended up doing.
I would do that, but now a seller doesn't have to, and they may not.
Okay.
But you can
They
always
don't
ask.
have to.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the only person that can make them is a judge.
Okay. So we have to get enough of that.
Yeah.
And then on the termination letter, not only do paragraph 23B, but should I check the seller's disclosure box on that also?
You could,
Okay.
if you feel that that's what happened. Yep.
Coming through in some of the KW mastermind groups, big scenes and stuff, does Regional come out with anything against Mojo or Land Voice or any of the other multi-line auto dialers that we need to be aware of in the last 2 weeks?
Not specifically for the region. I know what you're referring to, and yeah, and that's one of the things that since she's been on vacation, her and I have to sit down and discuss together. So we'll you were gone. We'll talk about it next week at our team meeting, and if there's anything else that we need to put out before then, after we get a chance to talk about it, we'll put it out then.
These are not auto dialers that are calling people asking for business, are they?
Well. Yes.
And those auto dialers are licensed, right?
Do what, man?
If you're making
Well,
calls,
no, some of them are automated.
I understand, but that's
The machine is not licensed.
the machine is not licensed.
It looks like the federal hire has been brought to KW in Florida. and
Yes.
Yeah.
probably
We're
gonna
do not
roll
call
across.
class action lawsuit as being
Now, what I was interpreting part of that to mean was it was also talking about databases as well and calling people that you already have in your database. And if you were to utilize some kind of an auto dialer or something like Slide Broadcast to call your database and basically just do one solicitation, is that against any federal policies? And there wasn't really a clear answer on that particular portion of it.
It's been a long time since I've read that. I'd have to look at the law.
Could you mention slide? I'm using slide broadcast. Can you mention it one more time? I'm sorry.
Are you using Slide Broadcast with people who are in your database and that you know?
Not database that I know.
That you know or that you do not know?
Do not know these people.
Don't use Slide Broadcast for that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Only use if you're going to use Slide Broadcast, use it for people who you have a relationship with and you've talked to before. Because the risk with that is if they're on the do not call list, the
Established business relationship.
Yeah, and you don't have an established business relationship.
I take them all out. The do not call list out.
Okay. I would still say not to do
Red X.
it if you don't have a relationship with them already. If you're just going to broadcast a whole bunch of people, here's the reason that's a huge risk. If you got involved in a lawsuit about the do not call list, all it would take was a subpoena to Slide Broadcast, and then they would have access to every single phone number that you also called, and each one of those fines is like $16,400, and they would just stack those up on up. So I would only use it for people that you already have in your database and that you already have a relationship with.
What's the time frame on the DNC
For how far they can go back?
yeah, the relationship?
It used to be 18 months, David, and I can't remember. I wouldn't attest to that at this moment.
Okay.
If you had engaged them in the last 18 months over a business relationship conversation, is it changed, Brian?
Now, that hasn't changed, but the way that we've been seeing through other agents that use the technology is cut your dialers down, single line dialers, scrub them personally or have your ISA scrub them against your internal market centers. Do not call list. Even if you're buying a list, it's already scrubbed, re-scrubbed, show
Right.
no intent to follow in the law. But don't get rid of your second and three line dialers that go in there if there's busy signal, and then you call back and say, oh, we lost signal, and why? That's where you're going to get that charge, and that's what the federal lawsuits are getting set right now, is you've gone in and you dropped calls. Yeah, be real careful.
Yeah, Mojo is a dialer that you can have. It's up to 3 lines, right?
3 lines.
Continuously calling a bunch of different numbers for you, and then it'll automatically connect you with the first one that picks up, and the other people will just kind of be there waiting, or it'll just hang up on them. Or you can set it up to where if it goes straight to voicemail, it'll automatically leave a voicemail on your behalf, and then go to the next one. If you're going to use it, I would do what Brian's talking about and only have one line calling for you so that you can't call a bunch of other people. The reason,
shows your intent.
yeah, the reason people use dialers is for efficiency and to get through. Like if you're calling your database and you want to be able to call through the entire thing in a week, you might want to use a single line dialer to get through them. But just be really careful with it.
So single line dialer, I use that. So
Mhm.
single line dialer only. And can I dial mobile?
No.
No?
If it's a cell phone, don't touch it right now.
Okay.
Don't text them either.
For people you do not have a relationship with. Yes.
Well, then I want to know how to turn in all these people that are calling me every 2 days.
Good luck with that.
I think that do not call is the biggest joke in the world.
You can report. I think you can report them through the FTC website.
And just so you know, on your cell phones, at least on the iPhone, if you do get a telemarketing call, when the number comes in, you can scroll it down and block it.
Yeah, but a lot of times if you want to
Oh,
turn
they
the
roll
number,
the numbers.
they're golden numbers, they don't.
They do, and when you do business with people out of the city, you know, it's hard to block something because you have a lot of different.
Oh, I use an app called RoboKiller, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's great. So, and it will, what it does is if someone else has, even if it's in another state, if they have tagged that number as a solicitation call, RoboKiller automatically knows it through their system, and it goes over to RoboKiller on the app, and then you can even set it to like answer and give these ridiculous, keep these guys on the line, and it's just a recorded thing the RoboKiller has done. But it also just sends it over to RoboKiller instead of sending it to my phone. I don't even know that it rings anymore. It doesn't ring my phone. So, and it's a free app. So,
For iPhone or Android?
I have an iPhone, so I don't know if Android's.
If it's on the iPhone, there's definitely an Android app for it.
Has it.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, ma'am.
We are working on a contract with the buyer, and the seller is, I guess, working to subdivide the property. So we're only buying a portion of it. In the counter offer, and they've put this in the special provisions, not to be used as a commercial property, not to be used as a feedlot, all these different things for property use. So, in my opinion, I just want to ask how you feel about this. Obviously, there's not, the use paragraph is more for the buyers to protect them on how they want to use it. So that needs to be done in deed restrictions by the sellers. That has no place in the contract, correct?
I think if I were doing it, if we were on the seller side of that, I would have given you a separate piece of paper that says, here are the deed restrictions that we are working with our attorney to put on this property, and put all of those things on it if they're not done, which they're apparently not done yet, so that you knew that all of those things were true and would make an informed decision. Otherwise, you would have to wait to contract until the attorney had finished those and see them. But I think there's a place for it. Yeah, they would need to be recorded. But I think if I were the seller in the process of subdividing with my attorney working on deed restrictions, I would want a buyer that was going to buy part of it to know what we were proposing, and
it's literally like 2 lines, so it's very simple and basic in this situation, which it could be very convoluted. Yet that didn't belong there.
Yeah. Okay. And I just draft up something that said, here's what our attorney's working on, so that you know. And the buyer might want to reserve a right to back out after they have seen the deed restriction.
Is it enforceable?
If it's in
there,
it's enforceable. It's enforceable.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're, one way they're trying to get around and doing the attorney bill at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be enforceable necessarily on a subsequent buyer if it's
Right.
not in
You
a
resell it to
recorded deed
somebody
restrictions. Yeah.
There you go.
That's why I'm saying it's not enforceable except to that buyer.
That's right.
There's another section that might be worth talking about that they wrote in here that I think is pretty interesting. Buyer and seller to split cost of fence not to exceed $2,000.
Wow.
To be completed within 60 days after closing.
Wow.
Sorry, I just thought that had a lot of implications there.
It does.
Well, and how do you interpret the 2,000? They're going to split $2,000 or it's 2,000
Exactly.
each?
And what kind of fence? I mean, there's a lot of bazillion questions, but I just wanted to bring bring
Yep.
up the interesting things that people can throw in there. So just be aware that
Well,
we're taught correctly.
Yeah, yeah. And when you, for those of you kind of new and thinking, well, I understood that. If you think it through, you really don't, because there's a whole lot of questions that you and the other agent may have discussed. 5 strands of barbed wire with metal
Privacy
posts,
fence.
or privacy fence, or chain link, or whatever. You may have discussed that, but that's not what's in writing. And so
Exactly.
when somebody starts looking at that later on, that's going to create all kinds of problems, because just because you discussed it doesn't mean that's what's
And then I
clear.
also have the problem with completed within 60 days after closing. Can you want to advise about how we should, if something is to be done after closing, how we should protect against that if people try and write that in?
Yeah, well,
Don't.
don't.
That's-
Don't.
Wouldn't it just be easier to say in paragraph 12A1B, just add that $1,000?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Be done.
that's what I would,
Or
that's.
the 2, whatever was intended.
Mhm.
The 2 or whatever.
Whatever was
Yeah,
intended,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
was
just
intended.
be done
Yep.
with it.
You want to tell us about tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So tomorrow morning down at the Webster County Association of Realtors, I think at 8:30, there's breakfast. And then at 9, Steve's going to do a presentation on the future of real estate and talking about all kinds of things. And he says that it's the 2 of us, but it's mostly Steve, because I think I'm just there for looks. I'm going to add a little bit when we talk about Canadian anti-spam legislation and European anti-spam legislation and some do not call issues and some other things that are going on kind of globally that we're watching that may kind of sift their way into our
Which Steve?
world.
Steve.
Bomb.
Schleter.
Just kidding.
Steve Schleter.
Steve Schleter.
Everybody's invited. I think it'll be good. He's got some really good information about kind of what's going on in the real estate world in a 30,000 down at the Board of Realtors in Round Rock. At 8:30 is breakfast, and I think 9 o'clock is the presentation until 10:15 or something like
And the
that.
bridge is now open.
Yeah, the bridge is now open in
Oh, is
Round
the
Rock.
bridge open?
Yes.
2 months early.
So
Good.
Old Settlers now has direct. You can go in both directions when you exit 35 now.
That was a disaster. So yeah, I think it'll be good. I've seen part of his presentation. I've seen his slides, and they're good. And just kind of what he's going to do is build a picture for you, if you will go and watch, of what's going on and why we should all be doing exactly what we're doing, which is stay in touch with the people that we know, to do business with them and their friends, and why that will be the thing that will keep you working for a long, long time. Is that another article somebody sent me this morning? It wasn't necessarily about real estate, but it was about being careful to put anything between you and your customer or your client. And it talked about, Expedia and Travelocity and all things being between the hotels and the airlines and the consumer. And that has happened, and it has hurt the economics of the airlines and the hotels. We're doing that in our business. And it's the thing that we need to be afraid of. And the thing we need to be paying attention to is that robocall thing, which I appreciate that some of you are doing that and it's working for you, but you should be the robocall person. You should be making these calls. You should be calling the people that you told out. If you don't have any people like that, call the people. Call your soccer coach from when you were in high school. Call your best friend's mother.
Coach Townsend, yes.
Call all those people and say, I'm in the real estate business. Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell a piece of property? That's my speech.
I have a question. My last question. So we're seeing phenomenon because we're part of Austin, but we don't have an Austin board. So we're putting combinations on the teams for Austin to come up. And if anybody can, what is your content? We're only getting that after we confirm it's an Austin agent, but we need to give the sellers permission to do that. That would be the best way to do it that way. And the seller, does they need to put the combination on, or is it okay if it's just randomly picked?
Random picked is okay. Put that in disclosure for the seller to sign.
Either they pick or randomly.
All right. Good morning.
Morning.
Come on, on, you can do better than that. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, we have a special guest that I'm just gonna let come on in right now because she's got to be dying of heat in that thing. Come on in, Dina. I mean, the can lady.
Good morning, everyone. I am representing the Williamson County Association of Realtors, and we are doing the canned good drive. It's right around the corner, so we will be going around collecting canned goods in the month of July. July 19th is the date when we're going to be collecting these goods at the board. So we would like to challenge this office. We need a cheerleader. Whoop, whoop. Who's going to be our cheerleader? I see back there, I think Brian just volunteered, Brian Orsborn. We need a cheerleader. Yeah, give him a hand over you voluntold. He just got voluntold. I need someone who is going, like Brian, he's going to be going around and bugging everybody, reminding you to collect some canned goods. If you want to donate cash, we would love that too. This is a great opportunity, folks, for you to farm your neighborhoods. Great reason to reach out. Talking about reaching out to your database, your people. Give them a call and say, hey, I'm doing a food drive. I'd love to stop by your house, collect some canned goods. This is going to Williamson County. It's going to 5 different food banks in the area. And just remember, if they, I think my fingers broke. I was going to say. But anyways, 10 cents buys a pound of food, and about $15 will buy a cart of food. So people want to donate money, we will gladly take that too. So we hope this office wins. It's a challenge. I'm triple dog daring you. I'm going straight to the triple dog. TripleDog.com. So please just donate and let's do this. Let's make a difference. Thank you so much.
High 4.
Thanks, Dina. All right, let's kick it off. We'll talk about how this relates to y'all at the end.
Well, Matt, you've come a long ways and had a couple of close calls a few times too. Yeah. But here we are, the final question. If you answer correctly, you'll walk away from here with $1 million. Now, what will you do with the money? You and your wife, Whitney, want a charity, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Is she here? Where is Whitney?
Hi, Regis.
Whitney, what will this money go towards?
We're planning to build and supply orphanages in third world countries.
Well, that's very noble of you two. But let's see if Matt and his orphans are about to become millionaires. All right, Matt, here's your question. Who was the 26th President of the United States? Was it A, William McKinley, B, Theodore Roosevelt, C, William Howard Taft, or D, George Washington?
I'm not sure, but I know it's not George Washington. Maybe Roosevelt?
Would you like to ask the audience?
Yeah, let's poll the audience.
All right, audience, time to weigh in. Who was the 26th President of the United States? Let's see what they said. Wow. 100% of our studio audience feels the answer is D, George Washington.
Yes. I'm sorry, everyone, but I don't think that's correct.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
It's a bold choice to go against numbers like that.
Mm-hmm. But George Washington was the first president, so he really couldn't have been the 26th.
Well, your wife was one of the voters, Matt. Are you sure she got it wrong?
Well, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't think that it's George Washington.
Well, would you like to phone a friend?
Yes, my sister Mallory is a professor of history at Stanford. So
let's go to the phones.
Hello?
Hello, is this Mallory?
It is.
Mallory, hi, this is Regis. I'm with your brother Matt. He's going for $1 million, but he needs your help.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, Mallory, who was the 26th president of the United States? Is it A?
George Washington.
What? No, let me give you all the options.
No, I don't need the options. It's George Washington. Final answer.
No, Mallory, George Washington was the first president. I need to know who the 26th president was.
I heard you, and I'm telling you, it's George Washington.
Well, he was a founding father, and he fought in the Revolution.
Yes, and to honor him, they made him our 26th president.
Why would they wait that long? He would have been dead by that point. Isn't it Theodore Roosevelt?
Theodore Roosevelt? I don't even think that's a real person.
Well, she seemed pretty emphatic.
But she's wrong. You're all wrong.
Are you sure?
Yes, this is basic American history.
Now, man, you could choose not to answer and walk away with $500,000.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Teddy Roosevelt. I'm going to answer B, Theodore Roosevelt.
Are you sure?
What?
There's a lot of orphans counting on you, Matt. Are you sure you want this to be your final answer?
Pretty sure.
How confident are you?
I'm pretty confident. I mean, I was more confident before I started asking everyone. It can't be Washington, right? I mean, there's no way I'm wrong about that one.
Well, how confident are you?
Well, it's just weird that everyone thinks it's him. And my sister teaches history for a living, so maybe.
Would you like to use your final lifeline?
Oh, yes, 50-50. Let's do it.
All right, computers?
This is not happening. It has to be Roosevelt.
Now, you can choose not to answer, but if you guess wrong, you'll only walk away from here with $32,000, and after taxes, that's more like $2,000.
I gotta go for it.
All right, well, a minute ago, it seemed that you had ruled out Washington completely.
Yeah, but that was before you lit a light show and the music and everyone telling me I'm wrong. I don't know what I know anymore. No, it has to be Roosevelt. My answer is Roosevelt.
Are you sure? Think about the orphans, man.
You are the devil, Rita. I gave you one, but you keep making me doubt myself.
What is your final answer?
D. George Washington.
That's incorrect. I'm sorry.
Will you get the lights for me? I play that because I was helping an agent the other day through a market analysis, and they were just sure, and they were sure about their answer, and their answer was the answer that I kept coming up with them as well, with the price that the home should be at. And they had somebody who was going for outside information. The seller was consulting their friends and somebody who used to be a realtor 10 years ago. And I mean, we ultimately came down and said, this is the price it should be at. And they finally agreed, hey, we're going to go ahead and list it at that price. But how many times do we actually deal with that? Where outside influences are giving us, are making us second guess all of the things that we've known and we still know and are always going to be true. And so I saw it the other day and thought that we could totally relate that to the real estate industry every single day of our lives. Right? How many of you have dealt with someone like that before? Yeah, exactly. How many of you are dealing with someone like that right now? I'm sorry. All right, so the competition. Donna has the list for the people on the competition, for the entire team, group of teams at the competition. We'll have that out front, and we'll also post it online. Sorry I didn't get up earlier, but the teams, we definitely have it all taken care of, so she'll have that out front for you. Once again, those prizes, first place is a 4-night cruise for 2 or $1,500 in cash. Second place is 2 nights at the JW Marriott in Austin or San Antonio. And third prize is a $250 Visa gift card. And those are all, any listings you take from June 1st until July 31st are going to be counted toward that. All right?
And closings, right?
Yeah, if you take a listing on June 1st and it closes before July 31st, that counts as 2, you get 2 entries for that. All right, any other questions about that? Perfect. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is tech. How many of you guys have downloaded the Kelly app? All right, I want you to take out your phone right now and download it. This is a piece of technology you're going to want to have on your phone because it's going to change the way you do business. It's still, as Keller Williams International is explaining right now, it's still a child, but it's learning a lot of really, really neat things every single day. And I'm going to give you an example of some of those things that it can do, that I can do with it right now, and you'll be able to do with it in about 2 weeks. So go ahead and download it and just look up when you're done. And once you download it, log into it. Kelly, K-E-L-L-E. Yeah, sorry, I should have clarified that. K-E-L-L-E. It's without the Y. like an aqua type color. Do you use your KW email?
Sure do.
Okay, then it's going to be the first part minus the KW,
Okay.
and then whatever your password for your KW email is.
Does it look like
No, that's the mobile search app. The one you're looking for is going to be a aqua color, and it says Kelly, K-E-L-L-E. It's going to look like that. Your sign in worked?
Yeah, but it's
Good.
not what you signed in. It's what you signed in for my KW.
Yeah, it's what you sign in with your MyKW on.
That's different than your email.
Okay. Sorry.
Not him, okay.
For me, it's not. It's the same for me.
Is yours still Megan as my hero? 1, 2, 3?
That's it, yep.
I can't wait till you come down to number 2.
Y'all got it? Uh-oh. Well, I'll look at it with you in just a minute. All right. So for those of you that have it, you'll be able to go along with me in just a minute. But if you don't have it, come and see us after the team meeting, and I can help you try to figure out why it's not downloading for you. I'm happy to do that. How many of you guys have heard about the partnership of Keller Williams and Nextdoor? Good. Okay, so a few of you. So I'm going to play a quick video about that. Keller Williams International and Nextdoor, the app that a lot of people use for information within their neighborhoods, have paired up, and it's an exclusive partnership only for Keller Williams agents. So I'm going to play a quick video for you about what that means for you.
Hello everyone, I'm Kyle Puckett, and today we're going to discuss our partnership with social network giant Nextdoor. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so if you've been keeping up with the emails from KWRI, then you've probably already heard about our partnership with Nextdoor. But what is Nextdoor? Nextdoor is a private social network for neighbors to communicate with one another. It's similar to Facebook in how it's laid out, however it sets itself apart by requiring its users to provide proof of their address and identity. They do this by one of two methods. Either a neighbor who's already in Nextdoor can help verify your account, or you can ask Nextdoor to mail you a verification code. Once your account is accepted, you will belong to a neighborhood and can see and speak with any nearby users who've signed up. What do people use Nextdoor for? Neighbors can use Nextdoor to cultivate relationships with their own community. You can organize an event, track down a reliable contractor, or quickly get the word out about a break-in. There's also a lost and found section for neighbors who want to report a lost item or animal, a document section for HOAs to post their newsletters and bylaws, and a local real estate section. And if you're new to the area, there's also a recommendation section to help you scout out the best local restaurants, mechanics, electricians, and even realtors. So here's what we know so far about our partnership. Nextdoor will plug into the Keller Cloud to provide insights that power a variety of tools at Keller Williams. For example, the Market Snapshot tool, which will be released to Kelly users soon, combines Nextdoor and MLS data to provide you with the market statistics of a specific area based on zip code or neighborhood. You'll be able to see the median sold price, average days on market, and number of active listings for this particular neighborhood, among a number of other things. And to make it even easier, you'll be able to pull all this up into Kelly with a simple voice command. With all this hyper-local information, Keller Williams has made it even easier to be a local expert. Furthermore, Nextdoor will also power Keller Williams' referrals tool to provide you with information on agents who've done business in specific neighborhoods. And with this type of information, it will make it even easier for you to find other local experts throughout the country to send referrals to. Our partnership with Nextdoor also includes a free Nextdoor business page. In order to create this business page, you'll need to keep an eye out for an email from KWRI with instructions on how to set up or claim your branded page. You'll also receive branded listings until February 2019. Having a branded listing means that your home will be prioritized in Nextdoor's real estate section, newsfeed, and end-of-week digest emails. And with our My Listings, My Leads agreement, no other agent will appear next to your listing on Nextdoor's website. Just keep in mind, these are just a few ways for you to stay ahead of the curve by being an agent at Keller Williams. And that's where I'm going to end today's video. And remember, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. And please don't forget to leave a review down below. I really do look forward to hearing from you guys. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to hit the follow button in order to stay up to date with all my future content.
So what do you think about that? Isn't that neat? All right, I'll give you a real quick demo of what it looks like if you use.
Live in that neighborhood.
No. Of what it looks like in order to use the market snapshot. Let me go. All right, so if you go into your Kelly app, you just go down here, you'll click the little button on the bottom right corner, and you'll say where you want to pull it up for. This will be available for you guys in about 2 weeks. They gave me the ability to test it out a little bit early. So show me a market snapshot for zip code 78626. There we go. So it pulls it up. It shows there's 240 active listings in 78626 right now. There's 78 that are pending. The average.
Mapping for 78626?
That is the correct mapping for 78626. I double checked it the other day on
that's
Google
30.
Maps.
That's 30. I thought that was right.
Yeah. And then you can expand all of these things. It'll show you average days on market is 83. There's the average days pending is 111. That's probably because some people haven't put in their data correctly. And what it's doing is it's just connecting directly with the MLS. The other thing that's neat about this is I would use my neighborhood, but my neighborhood's a little bit difficult because there's a small amount of homes in there and it spells it wrong when I say it. I'll use Terra Vista right here. Show me a market snapshot for Terra Vista.
Does that differentiate between whatever I can?
Yeah. There it is.
Cool.
And it's using all of that information through Nextdoor to pull exactly what all of the parameters in Terra Vista are so that you can see instantaneously what the market looks like over there. So if somebody asks you, let's say you're at Starbucks or something, and they say, hey, what's the market like in Terra Vista right now? You can just go to your app and say, hey, what's the market like in Terra Vista? And you can show them right there on the spot what everything looks like for them.
Is that all Round Rock and Georgetown, or is that just?
This is Round Rock and Georgetown included together because there's part of that. See right there? That's the Westinghouse side on Georgetown there. Yeah. So it's going to pull it if it's in multiple. Let's say that it's in different cities, but that subdivision stretches across all of it. It's still going to pull it all because Nextdoor knows exactly what that subdivision looks like.
So when is everybody going to have access to this?
About 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So start using this app in like. You can't use
it tells me that I'm not part of the lab and I'm on a wait list.
For the Kelly app?
To access that piece?
This feature, yes,
Okay.
2 weeks from now.
Oh,
Just to guarantee that, if you go to kwconnect.com, if you go to kwconnect.com, go to the technology tab, and then click on the labs and just click sign up for labs. As soon as you do that, every time something comes out, they'll push it to you immediately. You'll get whatever tool they have pushed out immediately, and we can show you how to do that. Or actually, I could just show you right here on the screen. Source. All right, so right here, you'll go to kwconnect.com. And once you click on it, it's going to ask you what your login is. And then right here, you'll go to this Resources tab. And once you're on Resources, you'll go down to Technology. And you'll click that. And then you're going to click the Labs dashboard right here. And once you've clicked the Labs dashboard, you're going to click Sign Up for Labs. And as soon as you do that, you're in. So every time a new tool is sent out, you're going to get access to it because you're part of the labs. And what the labs do is, when you start to ask information out of the Kelly app, it's going to update the people in the IT department at Keller Williams International. If they don't have an answer right away, they'll be able to get an answer for you and create that feature. Like that snapshot tool, it was really created about over the last month and a half because agents said, hey, this is what we're looking for. Keller Williams International is spending about $50 million this year on technology, and this is one of the things they've created. They also shared with us some other things that this app is going to be able to do within the next 12 months. And one of those things is, how many of you guys hate using Dotloop? Perfect. Well, it's going to replace a major piece of Dotloop by allowing you to basically scan documents directly from your phone right into Kelly. And it's going to go into the whole the whole transaction management platform that they're creating right now. Google came to Keller Williams and said, that can't be done right now. You can't find a way to make a document readable just through taking a picture of it with so much information on it. And we've actually been able to figure out exactly how to do it. So if you have an amendment that needs to be added to your file, you'll just take a picture of it, and it's going to be able to read all of the information and all of the fields on that amendment and put it right into the transaction management system.
But that is quite some time down the road.
Should be within the next 12 months.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They-
so Dotloop can go bye-bye?
They showed us a demo of it on
Do you guys
Thursday
know
last
who
week.
Dotloop's owned by?
Dotloop is owned by Zillow.
Yeah, we're phasing that out, right, because of that relationship,
Mhm.
and this is one of the ways that we're able to.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say? I said we're phasing it out, and this is one of the ways that we're able to do that actually effectively.
Yeah, all of our contracts with outside companies like Dotloop and Market Leader and things like that are going to be up within the next 12 months, which will allow us to be able to get to take care of it. And actually, some of those contracts, from my understanding, is Keller Williams International is just writing a check to get out of them early so that we can start adapting to our tools.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, how many of you guys have logged in and joined the referral network? Perfect. If you haven't, go and do it. And ideally, you want to join forces with somebody from every single market center in the entire country. There's like 700 and some odd market centers in the country right now. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to go and get it. Yes, Megan?
And I highly encourage you, if you are looking at like sending a referral to somebody, even if you already know who that agent is and you already have that agent identified, reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to connect with you on this referral network because I promise you the paperwork sending that referral is 10 times easier.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to track it, and it's a really good way for you guys to both be able to learn the system on a really easy one that you guys were already planning on referring to somebody. So highly encourage you to do that.
Correct. So yeah, even within the Nextdoor, with the Nextdoor integration and the referrals, it's going to be able to help an agent even pinpoint who's dominating a market and what in a certain area. It'll also help you to create, those maps that we see people using from time to time where they've placed pins on all the homes that they've sold on Google, and they've done that manually. It'll just create that automatically for you so that you can use that in your own marketing as well. Yeah.
Are we the only ones on Nextdoor?
Yes. Nextdoor is an exclusive feature for Keller Williams agents with those pages and featuring your listings whenever it comes up. Yours is the only one. Your listings will be the only ones that are on there, and it'll only have your information on it with it.
So
Yep.
they don't have a relationship with other realtors that can pay in to be a part of Nextdoor? I'm just wanting to make sure I'm clear so that, because I know we have a relationship with Zillow.
Correct.
Yet there's still some nuance with that, so I just want to make sure.
They
I have
do
my
allow
expectations
other
clear.
agents to advertise on Nextdoor, but they're paying for it. You're not. Every time you have a listing, it's going to be featured in the Nextdoor feed, and other agents have to pay a lot of money in order for that to happen. Yeah.
So something was said until February 2019, and I thought that said about the feed. Is that correct, or what was the deadline for February 2019 on that video?
I'm not sure. We'll have to look into it and find out.
Okay.
So the referral network you said is what adds the drop pins for every house you've ever sold into Google?
Well, no, it's integrating. No, to Google and that are two different things.
What was that?
But what it'll do is whenever you've sold homes, you'll be able to just pull up my sold homes in the on your own map, and it'll show you. It'll drop a pin for every single place you've sold homes. the benefit to that is when somebody's looking to send a referral, they can also look and see, oh, she's been dominating Terra Vista or Old Town or whatever it is, so that they're sending referrals to people they know have experience in that particular area. Yeah.
Have they mapped all the subdivisions in all of the United States?
Nextdoor has, yes.
And even in Killeen?
Yeah. Nextdoor is available in Killeen as well.
But not Canada.
But not Canada.
Not Canada.
Yeah, yet. The other reason why this referral network is so important is because it's going to allow us to see migration patterns across the entire country. And right now, with the old school way that you do referrals by just sending a piece of paper and getting a signature on it, that tells us nothing. It tells you, the agent, something because you know where that person's moving to, but it doesn't allow us to get smarter as a company and as in giving that information back to you guys. So we're already starting to see through the referral network where people are coming from and what the biggest cities where people are moving from, like Southern California. There's tons of people that move here to this area from Southern California. And it's going to be able to show you exactly what's going on in real time. As soon as somebody accepts a referral, we're going to be able to see that information and share it with y'all so that you can build even more extensive relationships with people in other parts of the country. But right now what I would do is I would go on there and find somebody in every single market center throughout the country and add them to your referral network. Because all it takes is it'll take you probably 2 hours to go through that whole thing and add somebody from every market center. And then when you start getting referrals in, it's going to totally be worth it. Yeah.
A couple things on the referral network. So when you're going through and searching for people, you can search for specialties. If you're looking for somebody that is doing MAPS coaching, or is a Bold graduate, or has a team, or is more of a buyer's agent, more of a seller's agent, so you can pinpoint and see those different varieties in there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, talking more about the point about even if you already have a referral that you're sending out, go through that system. Because guess what? It connects to Dotloop and makes your life a lot easier, and you don't have to mess with getting all of those forms back and forth as well.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Any other questions about that? Awesome. Nick, did you have anything you wanted to share with us today? I know you're walking up here right now, so.
That's not my intention. It's literally coming through here. If you have a couple minutes, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I actually heard something really interesting about interest rates I'd like to share with you guys. So recently at a conference in Las Vegas, Barry Habib spoke, who's kind of the country's foremost expert on interest rates. He's been predicting every single rise we've seen in this last 9 months, where rates have gone up about 0.75%. Does everyone know why rates stayed so low for so long?
The Dow was high.
Partially.
Because the Fed
Because it wasn't like
The Fed was buying mortgage-backed securities at about $50 billion a month. So they're artificially propping up rates, keeping them low. Who's familiar with the term quantitative easing? Anyone heard that? Yeah, not many people. So what it is, it's the Fed's plan of backing off of that. And what they're doing is they're dropping about $10 billion a month every 3 months. And if you look at it, you'll look back at October, January, April. Those 3 months, rates went up about 0.25%, right around there, and that's when the Fed did that. So it's actually been pretty interesting to see all the outside noise that you guys hear about the economy and everything like that. It's really the Fed with their activity with mortgage-backed securities that's affecting it. So guess what's going to happen in July?
Rates are going up?
$10 billion less. I wouldn't be surprised to see about a quarter hike in interest rates next month. And then what's after July? That's October again. October of this next year, there's going to be another drop in how much they're buying. So we could look at another quarter. So it's not out of. It's actually pretty reasonable to think that rates will be about 0.5% higher about 4 or 5 months down the road from now.
Which would put them at?
Low to mid fives.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're seeing that on some of our, five
Yeah.
and five
Yeah.
and some change.
Oh yeah, I locked in a 5 for the first time in a long time recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since your days at Countrywide? Just kidding.
That was like 9-ish back at Countrywide. Yeah. Subprime loans. But, so yeah, so as a result, preach to the clients. Like I met with a client 3 months ago, and the rates have gone up 3/8 since then. It's $55 a month on the payment. The cost of waiting is very, very real right now.
Do you have to have that, what you just mentioned about the 10 billion, do you kind of have that in writing someplace?
I do not. I actually just listened to the podcast pretty recently, which is why I wanted to share it with y'all today. I'm sure I could put something together in writing, or at least try to forward you the video that I watched. Yeah. I'll see if I can just get it to Scott and share it out.
I'll put it on our Facebook page.
And so to backtrack.
It looks better coming from something outside of us than
Exactly.
it does from us.
Yeah, exactly. But to backtrack on that, but guess what could negate everything I just said?
Recession.
A trade war. Which is, as that continues to escalate between Trump and China right now, we're seeing that if it continues to, people are going to take their money from stocks, move it to the safety of bonds, rates will go down. Another thing that I found fascinating that he said that really actually caught me off guard was every time unemployment has at an all-time low for the economy, which we are right now, once it's bounced back up, there has been a recession within 18 months of that mark every single time in the history of our economy. So everyone is kind of now projecting a potential recession around early 2020. Guess what housing does during a recession? Stays level or goes up. So everyone's like, but housing tanked in 08, 09, everything like that, but that was not.
But we had good interest rates.
And that was due to fraud. It wasn't due to the actual recession. The recession was caused by the bubble that collapsed in housing. So if you look back at every recession in history, housing prices go up. This last one, it was flat. Every other recession in history, housing prices go up. And guess what happens to interest rates during recession? They go down. So recession sounds scary, but for us, it's actually good news.
Well, yeah, in a healthy economy, we like to see the interest rates between 5% and 6%.
Correct.
Because one of two things happen. Either housing prices are going to go way up because interest rates are way down, or in a healthy economy, they're going to go up steadily as the interest rate stays between 5% and 6%. Or if the interest rates go way up, then the housing prices are going to have to tank.
Yeah, so I'm not predicting the future or anything. I'm just going off past patterns of our economy, and I think that was really interesting. Thought I'd share with you guys. It gives you some good scripts to talk to your clients about. I mean, you can't, have no crystal ball, but it's a pretty good bet that rates are going to be going up here in the next 4 months or so. So something to keep in mind. Also, if I can have another minute or so, I'd like to share a quick little story that just happened that I was really excited about for our team. We had a client under contract to purchase a home contingent on the sale of their home. And there was a delay with the sale of their home. A cash buyer came in, went under contract on that home. They had to drop the contingency because they couldn't do. So this sweet lady, she was a teacher. She was going through a divorce. She was out of contract with her home scheduled to close in 14 days. She was going to be homeless. So at that point, I talked to the realtor. I said, it was on a Friday. We had 2 weeks. I said, find a contract this weekend. I promise you we'll get her into the house. They went under contract that Sunday. I locked in the rate on Monday the 11th, and we just closed last Friday the 22nd. Wow. An 11-day close, y'all. So if just something that we were super happy we were able to help the client out with, and just like to share that with you. If you're ever up against it, if you ever have a tough spot and need a very quick closing, please give my team and I a call. We'd love to help. Conventional loan. Yeah, we got the appraisal done in 3 days, turned it around, got the divorce decree signed 2 days before closing, and it was perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
that divorce decree thing, that was the key. That was the key to getting it done in 11 days.
Yeah. Need that judge to sign that, yeah. Absolutely. So thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Good.
If there's anything I can do, just let me know.
All right. What do we got going on in the Market Center? Building update. Guess what? We have carpet. Most of the carpet went in yesterday in all the offices, and they were prepping the floor in the training room today to put carpet in back there. So we're still moving right along. We should have our certificate of occupancy from the city probably within the next 15 days or so. So things are happening rather quickly. We will probably have to go back through some form of the Heart Committee again for our sign. So pray for that. And pray for the people that are on the Heart Committee because they're not going to want to hear from me if it takes too long.
So what's the painting on the exterior?
That's going to be... no, actually, that'll be done probably sometime next week because they're finishing everything on the interior, and then they'll be moving to the painting and the finishing of the parking lot. Yeah, David.
Moving timeline?
It is a moving timeline, yes, so we're still watching it move.
We're still watching it move.
Yeah. Probably in 15 days or so.
Okay.
That's what we're shooting for. As long as we have that certificate from the city.
So July 10th is still what?
That's still what our plan is.
Do we need to have everything boxed?
Yeah, that's why if you have an office here in the building, we've provided boxes. If you need more, just let us know. So all you'll have to do if you have an office in the building right now, just package the stuff in your office, and we have movers that are scheduled to come and take everything and move it into the according offices in the new building, including the furniture too. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
In the general workroom?
Yeah.
How many computers are you going to have in there?
We'll probably have, I think we're going to have 4 on the wall, and then, so twice as many as we've got now. And then we're going to have like a cafe type seating as well. So one portion of it is going to be just a nice long built-in desk with computers ready to use for anyone. And then the other portion is going to be like kind of like a Starbucks type feel. So if you wanted to just drop in with your own laptop and work back there, or if you wanted to meet clients in somewhere that's not a conference room, you can meet with them back there as well, next to the kitchen. And we'll have a coffee service there as well. So it won't be like here where you have to make your own coffee. We'll get it taken care of for you. So yeah. Any other questions about it? Perfect. I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming, and we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Nancy, any input for us on what we need to do with the Heart Committee?
You want me to get up there and talk for you?
Yes, that'd be great. That would be great. We actually we thought we had taken care of the entire process when we did the original building, but I think some of the turnover in the Heart Committee has caused a little bit of confusion, so we don't think it's...
The rules are a moving target.
I know, exactly. Exactly. So, all right, our ALC meeting and mastermind is going to be on July 17th in this room at 10:30, and then we're going to have a mastermind right after that at noon. So that'll be for the month of July.
Probably in the new building.
And yes, it should be in the new building, exactly. And if it's not, we'll have a powwow in the parking lot because, gosh dang it, we're going to use that building one way or another. And then Michael Trithart. This is going to be something you're going to want to come to. This is what it's about. The first part of the class is called Become Google Great, and they're going to teach you ways to get your Facebook page. It's going to be on July 17th. Facebook page up to the top of Google within weeks, and he's going to give you things that you can implement that day in order to make that happen. And then the next part is going to be Discover Your Facebook Goldmine, and he's going to teach proven strategies in order to get leads out of Facebook immediately. There's going to be 6 hours of continuing education credit for this class, and there's a fee for it. It's $79, and we're anticipating it filling up pretty quickly.
How
So
do you sign up?
you can go to connectkw.com, and there's a link right there on the front page. All you got to do is click that. It takes you right to Eventbrite.
And are there videos of him from Family Reunion?
Yes, if you go on the KW Connect page and type in Michael Trithart, you'll be able to kind of get a taste of what his teaching is like because he taught some of these classes at
amazing.
Family Reunion.
Yeah.
He's a pretty awesome guy. All right, and then the next thing we got is Bold. How many of you guys have been to Bold before?
Once.
Well, yeah, how many times have you actually been to Bold, Tom?
8 or 9.
8 or 9 times. All right, and maybe you'll get it right this time. I'm just kidding. The only reason I say that is because
You never get
the
it right.
only reason I say that is
Really
because you
nice.
never get it right. And Gary Keller came out and said, if you want to take it and get it right, take it 10 times. But
I say that every time I
yeah,
take it.
there have been people who have taken it many more than that. So that's going to be starting on the first Monday of August, and it's going to be held at the Williamson County Association of Realtors. That's where we're going to meet because that room will be big enough for all of us. The way that we're going to break it down is if the first 15 people to sign up are going to be completely reimbursed for Bold in 2 transactions, everyone else will be reimbursed in a total of 4 transactions. The class is $799, but we'll reimburse you for the entire thing as long as you close, at minimum, if you're the first 2 people, 2 transactions within 6 months, or if not, 4 transactions within 6 months of taking the first step. Now, keep in mind that if you take a listing under $150,000, that one doesn't count for the reimbursement schedule. It's $150,000 or more, and most people close between, well, the majority of people close 14 deals within 6 months of taking Bold. So there's that. Yes, sir.
How does that go with teams?
1 person per team. Any questions about that?
Who's teaching?
It's going to be John Prescott. And he's now a Georgetown resident, so he gets to do it right here in his own backyard.
What dates?
It's going to be for the month of August and September.
So August and then skip the next week?
Correct, because the next week would be Mega Camp, so we're taking that week off.
Oh, okay.
Any questions about that? All right. Let's go to this one. Avis talked about it a little bit earlier, Future of Real Estate. It's going to be a good event tomorrow morning, and hey, breakfast is free, so come and hang out with us. And that'll be at the Williamson County Association of Realtors from 8:30 to 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Even if you're not a member there?
Even if you're not a member, it's open to everyone. It's really a Keller Williams event that we're going to be hosting, but we've opened it up to anyone that wants to come. And the reason why we created a little event like that is Steve Schlueter went to a thing called the Gathering of Eagles, which is a Larry Kendall and Real Trends event up in Colorado. And Avis was recently at the National Association of Realtors Conference, and they're pretty much just going to share the things that they learned at those two events with y'all. All right, we're going to have another client appreciation event on August 3rd. And there will be more details to come out about this in the coming weeks. But we're going to do another one of those wristband type things where if you want to invite your database and invite some of your clients to come to this, we're going to do an ice cream social out in the parking lot at our new building on August 3rd, along with a movie night. So we've rented the Kona Ice Truck, and they're going to come up here that night. And we're going to do another thing, kind of like what we did last year, but in a much bigger space, where we have an ice cream social. We're going to do homemade ice creams and things like that. So if you want to make ice cream and bring it that night, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a good time last year. We'll have toppings, and we'll have some summer cocktails that we're going to make that night too. So it'll be a client appreciation event that you can invite your clients to. And we haven't decided what movie we're going to play out there, but we're going to do one of those huge screens and allow people to kind of set up blankets and bring lawn chairs, and we'll do it right on the side of the building in the new building parking lot. So, any questions about that? All right.
What's the movie?
What's the movie? I don't know yet. Come on, Lee. Do you have any recommendations?
Superstar.
Superstar?
That's what somebody said.
No. All right, who has a new listing they want to tell us about? Yeah.
So we have 3 more investment properties that have just come up in Temple.
Okay.
One is a fourplex for $179. And then the other 2 are duplexes. The 2-story duplex is $145. The 1-story duplex is $135. They all stay consistently rented, and the last time we put the fourplex up for sale, we had like 10 or 12 offers. We do have an offer deadline date for all of these properties now, July 9th. And we have an open house tomorrow from 10 to 11 and an open house on July 6th from 10 to 11. Sellers really want, if you have investors or if it's you personally, they want you to go through the units first before making an offer.
Okay.
List price on the fourplex?
$179.
And they're located where?
They're in Temple. They're all within the same area, and the fourplex is bringing in, so it's 550, 550, 525, what's that about? 2150 or something like that.
Okay.
We're going to be giving out documents of all the proof and that stuff.
We'll be doing the rent rolls, the maintenance records, and leases tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, Jeanette. And then you.
May I stand up and introduce myself?
Please do.
I'm Jeanette Poa. I have been practicing for 41 years. I've owned my own brokerage in Taylor, Terra Properties, and now I have joined my dear friend Avis. And we've been friends for 40 years. But anyway, I'm very excited about being with Keller Williams because I think your culture is the best. I have kind of researched it over the years, and I think it's the best. I have done all phases of real estate, and in joining Keller Williams, I have changed my name somewhat. I practiced under Terra Properties, Inc., and now I'm Terra Properties Group, so it hasn't changed much. And if any of you all have any questions about Taylor, I'm a native of Taylor. Practiced there again for 41 years. So I know the history, I know a lot, and I'm happy to share with you. In saying that, I want to tell you that you all have been invaded by a small flock of ducks.
Taylor does.
There's 3 ducks in this room. And each one of us, of course, has our own personalities and everything. I first would like to introduce you to my son, Shane. Shane, tell him what you do.
Well, I specialize in residential and farm and ranch. Really love the farm and ranch transactions, buyers and sellers. And I've been in the business 13 years myself, and I pretty much specialize on the eastern side of the county and anywhere that it touches, Milam County, Lee County, and I live in Pflugerville, so I do as much business down there as I can. And I'm also happy to be here as well.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, there is another duck. You all met him. And that's Irvin. Irvin, you want to tell me about yourself?
Well, I'm just trying to localize on the Taylor area, eastern Williamson County, and buyers and sellers. I've been lifelong resident of Taylor, born there. Probably deceased there too.
He's gonna move out east of town, is what he's gonna do later. That's what assumed you're.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you all know that there is a presence in Taylor. And it's always been my nature to kind of help people because I've trained quite a few that's worked for me. So if I can be of any help, I'll be glad to do that. And I have a listing that has just come up. It is a darling 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1985 by one of our quality builders that was building at that time. It needs some tender loving care. It's, I think the appraisal district says 1563 square feet. And it is listed for $178, and it is being sold as is. The address is 301 Drake. I should have it up by the weekend. And I know that there's some more listings going to be coming up in the Taylor area. So, again, even though I got to work with some eagles, I'll be glad to. Good. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, Jenny.
I have a new listing in Sun City. It's at 110 Six Flags. It's very well maintained and decorated, so if you have picky buyers, bring them. It's listed at $316,500. It's a Trinity model that has been modified to include as a 3rd bedroom. So it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and wood floors, stainless appliances. $316,500.
Awesome. Thank you. David.
I've got a 1969 built, 1-story, 1,577 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a little over 1/3 of an acre. It's .347. And it is priced at $200,000 in Round Rock.
Wow.
The next one I have is in Round Rock Meadows of Chandler Creek. And this home is about 3,200 square feet. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 baths, 3 living areas, 2 dining rooms. It's just a giant home, and the price on that baby is $279,900.
Awesome.
Meadows of Chandler Creek.
Okay. Megan?
How many square feet?
About 3,200.
You said 279?
279,900.
All right, Megan.
I've got 2 lots in Burnett, right on Lake Buchanan. One is a larger 0.7 of an acre lot. It's got 150 feet of Buchanan waterfront. It's got very minimal deed restrictions as an 800 square foot minimum build, so kind of affordable to build, and that helps because it's a nice piece of property. It's got oak trees on it, so it's cleared. We've got a driveway, we've got a well, we have septic, and there's over $100,000 in the boat dock and pavilion. It's on deep water, 30+ feet, listed at $499. Bring us an offer on that one, and then we also have a smaller lot. If you want something a little bit more affordable for $100,000, it's just under 1/3 of an acre. And it's just a couple lots down, and that one has 50 feet. There's no improvements on that one, so that's 100,000.
All right. Anyone else? All right. How about price? Yeah,
Well, I
Cesar.
do have a new one in Del Valley.
Okay.
And it's listed at $199,777, and that one is 2351 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths. And that price includes the foundation leveling. It does need some work on that.
All right.
AC repair, but it's a good investment.
All right. Anyone else? Yeah.
I've got a unique property that we're on a very tight timeline. This is a probate deal that's about to go into foreclosure, and we're waiting on the appraisal that we should have back today. Once I get that appraisal, we may be able to drastically lower the price to meet that appraisal in order to prevent from going into foreclosure. The attorneys have advised me the contingent contract that we have right now is not likely to go through, and so they want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the opportunity. Once I get the amendment, I'll have it changed in the MLS, but you guys will be the first to know. It's currently listed at $550. We have a contract that's considerably lower. I won't give a number, so please bring us an offer. It's County Road 287 in Liberty Hill.
Great.
15 acres, a 3,000 square foot house that's been vacant for 5 years. It's got a manufactured home on it. It's 2 parcels. It also has a 40 by 80 foot barn, a second 40 by 80 foot barn with upper and lower loading capabilities. It's currently ag exempt.
Is that a short term?
Yes, but it's already taken care of. We could close within 30 days if not.
You got approval, okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
All
There's
right.
a lot of layers to it, just
Okay.
that's the basics.
Okay. Any other price improvements we need to know about? Okay. Buyer needs?
I
Yeah.
have a price improvement
Go ahead.
on my listing at 329 Cedar Lake.
Okay.
We just dropped it to 322.5, and they just repainted the interior, cleaned the carpets, and did it make ready, so it's showing nice now. It's the one that had all the colors downstairs. He was on the property tour a few
Yeah.
weeks ago, so now it's looking neutral. So check it out online and send it to your buyers. It's the
All right.
one with the swimming pool in the backyard.
Good.
So,
Buyer needs?
Buyer needs.
Go ahead.
Got a lady that is looking to move down to the area. She's got a budget of $500. She can spend more. Cash buyer. She wants to live there, but also either do baked goods out of the place and deliver, or make it a wedding venue. So if you've got something you see that as a possibility, let me know.
Okay.
That one you're just talking about? Yes.
Do you have a buyer need? No? Any other buyer needs? Going once? Going twice? All right, let's give it up for the wonderful people at Wilshire. Come on up.
So we're Wilshire Homes. I'm in Paloma Lake. Cheryl's in Santa Rita and a few other places.
Santa Rita and Rancho Santa Fe and Liberty Hill.
Just closing that out. We pay 4% commission on all completed inventory homes. We are also a custom builder. If you have somebody who needs really specific needs, we do have architects on staff to redraw those, or we can just tweak with what we have to get people happy. Our motto is built around you. All of our homes get LEED certified, so they're all energy tested and rated. You'll get the buyer will get the HERS rating in case you ever sell it in the future. You can prove that it was tested and what it tested for. And we also have a 98% customer satisfaction rating, which hopefully will make your life easier if your buyers are happy. Paloma Lake, we have an on-site elementary school. It's rated exemplary. It's based 10 out of 10. It's in Round Rock. I don't know if any of you have been there, but about 15 minutes away from here. I know David's been there. We range from the 280s to over 500 out there, just depending on what size and how custom. There's a couple Lakeview lots we just opened up, and we're going into our final sections, and the neighborhood will be wrapping up. So, I'll let her tell you.
I'm closing out a neighborhood in Liberty Hill called Rancho Santa Fe. I've got a couple of acre home sites left, 2 inventory homes, which is including the model home there is up for sale. So if you have any clients looking for acreage in Liberty Hill, cute little hidden gem community off of 183 past 29, about 2 miles. And then I'm also in Santa Rita Ranch, so I'm in the south.
I am selling 50s and 60-foot lots over there, starting in the 250s on up to the 370s.
Where'd your model move to in Santa Rita?
It's a good question. No. It's just a little further down the street on Santa Rita Boulevard, right past the new green amenity center that opened up. So on Leon Loop. And I've got 2 new models. So.
Well, now you have the cell phone number.
And then Wilshire does have a few lots left in the northern part of Santa Rita in Tierra Rosa. So I'm in closeout up there right now as well. So I've got a few inventory homes, 1 lot left, and the model is up for sale over there. So
good model. Any questions?
I have a client that's building with her, and she's fun. So if you have an opportunity to go out there, it's a possibility. Just visit with
Keep
her.
it entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah, we got real creative with it. So.
And then they kept adding.
Don't they all?
Any other questions? All right, let's give it up for him. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so like I said, I'm available right after if you need help downloading your Kelly app or if you need help logging into it, just come and see me. I'll be in here. Other than that, have a great week. Enjoy lunch. We'll see you later. Did you get it?
I've got the app, but I can't get logged in.
Okay, let's see.